Sorry, I'm trying to set this up so my phone will like sit on its own. Whoa, not like that either. Just 1 second and I'll get this set up so my phone can sit on its own so I can look at your comments and look in the chat room's comments. Okay, so give you guys just a couple more minutes to get signed on. I see I look like a negative. What does that mean? Nancy says I look like a negative. Is the coloring weird? I have no idea. Pickles wants me to speak hood. Well, why is my coloring weird, Nancy? I don't know what the deal is. It's probably my camera. Okay. I look pale. All right. We don't have much time before the judge is going to come back. Okay, so let's talk Jamie Hood sentencing. So I don't even know where to start. First of all, let's just say what happened. So Jamie Hood was convicted for the murders of Omari Ray and Officer Buddy Christian on Monday. He was found guilty of that. And today was the death penalty sentencing phase, and yesterday and Wednesday. So the rest of this week they've been doing that. And, you know, the prosecution put on, you know, the great witnesses, the victim's family members, heartbreaking. I thought Omari Ray's mother was heartbreaking during her testimony during the guilt phase of the trial. And then again, during the sentencing phase, I think, you know, a lot of talk has been about Officer Buddy Christian. And, you know, I completely agree with that. Police officer is killed in a senseless way like that. That's who you want to talk about and honor. But I don't think a lot's been said about Omari Ray. You know, he lost his life. He has children, and he was his mother's only child, and senseless. You know, he may have been a drug dealer, dealing marijuana, but he also had a full-time job. He had worked full-time that day, came home. He was getting ready to take his cousin out to Applebee's for a birthday treat. You know, that's why he had left his house when he was ambushed by Jamie Hood. So I'd just like to mention Omari Ray lost his life here too. So the jury the past couple of days have been hearing from prosecution witnesses and then defense witnesses on why Jamie Hood should get the death penalty and why he should not get the death penalty. And they had to weigh that out today. Now, any experienced trial watchers, like I know all of you are that are on here right now, know these things take time. You at least have to go back to a jury room and talk about death, you know, and it's the first time they should have been talking about it, not before this, not even during the guilt phase. They probably could have brought that up, but that's not what the guilt phase was about when they were deliberating that. So they went back to discuss this, and I said all along that I never believed he was going to get the death penalty. Not that I don't believe he doesn't deserve it, because I do actually believe. I'm not anti-death penalty, but I'm only for the death penalty in, you know, the worst of the worst of the worst. And Jamie Hood just assassinated Officer Buddy Christian. And, you know, our police officers are there to protect and serve us. So I do believe that he deserved the death penalty. However, I never thought that would happen. And what we know, watching trials for a long time, and what I know from covering trials for a long time, is when a defendant gets up there and puts themselves in front of a jury, it's very rare. Most juries never hear from a defendant. Most juries never even hear them speak or what their voice sounds like unless they can see a recorded interview or something. And it's just an attorney that they kind of bond with or not bond with. And it's very easy to be removed like that and to sentence someone to death. But Jamie Hood, like him or hate him, and I don't think there's any like hims out there, put himself in front of this jury day in and day out, with his ranting and raving to his poor me. He had a lot of stories and he blamed a lot of people, and I don't think the jury necessarily likes him. No, I don't believe that for a minute, but it's very, very difficult for juries to sentence someone to death. Death is a finality. Sentence someone to death that they've gotten to know, whether they like him or not. Very difficult to do that. I believe Jamie Hood saved his life by representing himself. As crazy as this trial was and as crazy as he is, I think he saved his life by doing that. So they came back with life without the possibility of parole for the murder of Officer Buddy Christian. And then interestingly, life with the possibility of parole for the murder of Omari Ray. And the most fascinating part of this entire thing to me was not the sentences. I mean, maybe the Omari Ray one is a little shocking. I believed he was going to get life without parole. They took no time. They took no time. I don't know how, does anyone have the time? You can pop it up on the screen. The time they went out at like 1:23, let's see, what did I say? 11:23 p.m. a.m. Eastern, and they were back. I don't know how long was that time? No time at all. They have to not just discuss putting someone to death and whether he deserves it, and the aggravating factors outweighing the mitigating factors and vice versa. They have to actually fill out forms and write out the verdict forms. So all of that, and they came back like that with those two verdicts. The shocking part for me was that it wasn't death. Now I almost thought if they can come back with death, it'll be quick. They could go back there. Okay, 45 minutes. Addie says they were out 45 minutes. 45 minutes. They didn't even talk about it. If they did, it was barely. They barely talked about it. And I can understand that more if you've gone through this trial and he killed a cop and he's killed another guy and he tried to kill a second cop and he has done all these horrible things. I can almost understand 45 minutes if they were going death, as weird as that sounds. But I can kind of see them going back and going, look, he deserves the death penalty. He had no mitigating factors, really. It doesn't outweigh the aggravating. This is what the law says. Done, let's just go with that. But for them to come back with these split life sentences on two different defendants and to be unanimous, not a hung jury, in 45 minutes, that's crazy. I want to speak to jurors. Any juror ever sees this, I want to speak to a juror. Let me interview you. Let me talk to you. I would love to find out what happened in those 45 minutes. I don't know. Crazy. I don't know that I could have put him to death. I know many of you could have, so I don't fault them at all for their verdict, but the quickness of the verdict was very, very shocking to me. Okay, we only have just a couple more minutes before the judge is going to come back. Does anybody have any questions, comments, something that I can say online? I can see your chats when they come up on the screen of the phone, but I also have my chat room pulled up, so if anybody has a question on there or a comment that they'd like me to mention, then I'm happy to do that too in the next couple of minutes. Heartbreaking. Okay, this is heartbreaking and tear-jerking when Officer Buddy Christian's mother got on the stand. Let's see. All right. T. Cern says probably just took a first vote. They got back there and there was nothing more to talk about. I mean, it's very shocking. And to come to the agreement on life with the possibility of parole, that's got to, on Omari, that's got to take some discussion. Like, who comes up with that? How do you justify that? You know, where was that discussion in all of this? Just amazing to me. I would not have been amazed at all if they came back super quick on death, but the way these two sentences came back so fast really was shocking. One thing that I found interesting, sad, really sad, was Melissa Christian Griffith, who Officer Buddy Christian's widow, when she got on the stand. We had seen such emotional testimony before her from the parents crying. Buddy's mother could barely get her testimony out, and I was choked up about that, and I think many were. She got up there and she was very numb. And you know, I think we can all understand that. I think we can all understand what this woman has been through, and she's trying to raise these two little kids and everything she's been through, that I think that was just kind of maybe her defense mechanism on that stand. Toward the end of her testimony, when she started talking about her kids and the effect on them, she started to choke up. But I did find that very interesting, that she was just almost numb to the whole process of being there on the stand. Okay, judge is going to come back in just a couple of minutes. I just wanted to give that quick update on what happened that I find a shocker. I don't find a shocker in life without parole. I find it shocking the amount of how quick it was, the 45-minute deliberation, and unanimous, and I really thought they were going to be hung. I really thought I thought there would only be a couple that would hold out for life, not that unanimous. And shocking that life with the possibility of parole on Omari. And I'm not going to say that's shocking if they'd have taken a really long time to talk it out and why they thought that, but it's just shocking to come back with those two different ones on the two different murders. So we're going to see Judge Haggard officially sentence Jamie. Oh, by the way, he had a little smirk on his face. He nodded like this when they read it, like, oh, jury, you did good. So Jamie Hood, I guess maybe we'll see the last of him here in a few minutes, and that'll be it. But I'll tell you, has anyone ever seen a trial like this? I've been doing this for a while and covering a lot of trials. Never seen a circus like this. When Jamie Hood turned to the DA and said, "That monkey," yesterday, my jaw dropped. And what made me drop, not that he said it, because I totally believe that would come out of his mouth, that the judge did nothing. I mean, what's he going to do, really? What's he going to do to Jamie Hood? But besides the fact that we all wanted to see him get shocked. But say something, admonish him, do something. That was shocking to me that he said that. Okay. Let me just look really quick at the chat room and see what everyone is saying. I think everyone else was shocked by the two different verdicts. Hi, Bay, I see you. Hi, Garthy, I see you in the chat room. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off, and we'll see Jamie Hood for one last time here in a few